shalom, shalom, Israel. Let me start this over because I thought I was live. So let me start this over. I can't believe what I got to do right now, what I'm about to tell you, brothers and sisters. I just can't believe it. This shocked the hell out of me. Okay? My brother there, Yaqataz, a brother now named Yaqubab, we both named him Yaqataz. Okay? 5 years ago, this brother and I had issues, and it was over with. It was over with. This brother done seen my wife and I, shalom me, I don't know how many times. One time he saw me and my wife at a health food store. Oh, I gotta gave you a ride one time. I said, don't worry about it, bro. We was good. We called an Uber. We good. Right? I was going up against some Jehovah's Witness. He came over there and videoed us. I thought everything was all good. He done seen my sons in the street, my daughters in the street. I thought everything was all good. For some goddamn reason, Yaqataz brought up Qunath.
I'm being told by producers that in Cleveland now, there were places where they were burning your jersey. I don't know if this comes in there, as we've got some video of it right now. You surprised by this? Or just as you look, if you can see that image, how do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, I can't get involved in that. You know, one thing that I didn't want to do is make an emotional decision. And I wanted to do what was best, you know, for LeBron James and what LeBron James is going to do to make him happy.
For some goddamn reason, Yaqataz brought up Qunath.
It is time for that segment we love to call So They Say. All right, this might be an annoying habit.
For some goddamn reason, Yaqataz brought up Qunath.
But they say talking about yourself in the third person can actually make you wiser.
For some goddamn reason, Yaqataz brought up Qunath.
Huh. The habit actually dates back to the 1800s, and it was used by Julius Caesar.
For some goddamn reason, Yaqataz brought up Qunath.
Experts say talking in third person can temporarily improve decision making. For instance, if you're fighting with your spouse, adopting a third person perspective might help you actually recognize their point of view. Or so they say.
For some goddamn reason, Yaqataz brought up Qunath.
Rennie, you think this could actually work?
Why not try it? But it kind of sounds like you're pretending to have another person in the room.
Right.
For some goddamn reason, Yaqataz brought up Qunath.
And let that person settle the dispute.
Right.
You know?
I know.
But
yeah.
Rennie agrees with it.
Rennie agrees? Yeah, I could see how you're kind of stepping back from the situation and using, I don't know, but it could get very annoying.
For some goddamn reason, Yaqataz brought up Qunath. Spoke this man on the phone. This man called my phone and wanted to apologize to my wife for what? I don't know, but apologize to my wife and said, Qunath, we cool? So I don't know what's going on, but I got a fucking idea what's going on. My dad told me, so you got to watch guys, man. When they come out of nowhere and start talking shit about you, that's because they want to try to bring you in. Bring you into some shit because now they feel like they ready. See, Yaqataz, I've been working out, feeling a certain way. Now, he want to talk about Qunath. I try to apply Matthew 18 today, which says, if you got a problem with a brother, deal with that brother and him alone. So I called that brother twice when somebody shared this video to me. He ain't fucking pick up. Okay? So I said, you know what? I'm just going to commentary this video he did, right? And not shoot him down. I just want y'all to see the hypocrisy in this shit. You really got a blind man leading a fucking blind. And I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about right here. I'm about to play this shit. This shit is hilarious. 5 years. I've not said anything negative about this man, Yaqataz, that I named. At all. Watch out, Doc. You're on the screen. At all. I'm videoing this. I haven't said shit about him. But for some reason, he want to talk about me because the blind man got his head in his back like a fucking battery. And I know I sound like I'm upset because I'm like, where this shit coming from? So I'm going to let this play so y'all can see the hypocrisy, how people cut themselves. He going to start out, oh, I don't believe in all this and talking about tailbearing and all this shit. But yet still he do it. Now, since He want to bring me up and shit. Let's talk about the issue for real. This shit is old. I shouldn't be responding to it. But people out here listen to these guys. Right? And some people may be influenced by it. But let's go. Listen to this bullshit.
Son of the, in the name of the Savior, by the power, in the name of the Savior, by the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So, and what we telling right here, what I'm about to reveal, as a matter of fact, I'm not.
He say what about to reveal or not reveal, but yet still he gonna call himself. He say he not gonna reveal something, but he's gonna really try to reveal something because the blind man asked him his history in coming to Israel, and he tried to shoot me the fuck down. All right, but let's go. Here we go. Let's go.
Revealing anything. I labored with them brothers for 2 years. You know, me and Qunath, we hung together for 2 years, every day straight. You know, the brother we lived 2 blocks from each other. He used to walk to my house, I used to walk to his house. All day, every day. So I got to know him, he got to know me. I don't think a lot of people that spend time around him really was able to spend time around him like that to really get to know him. Plus, I'm 46 years old, so I'm not no naive young boy that don't see what's going on.
Right.
Right. And you know, when I got there, you know, I was optimistic, but I also can tell, and it's not putting the brother down, but I can also tell, even me coming from where I was coming from, and not really knowing the Bible and the scriptures, that the leadership was not even on my level. I already knew who I put myself under was not, you know, after a second I seen that. You know what I mean? I could just tell that. Just the way things was moving, I could tell things wasn't really happening. And listen, I'm just telling the truth. I'm not defecating on FOPE. I don't think that brother was never in the truth. That's just I'm gonna tell you who used to hold down FOPE for real. It was SHAM. SHAM was the one who was doing the teaching. SHAM was the one doing, when I was there, the brother didn't teach one class.
Wow. Not
one class. Right? And always had brothers and sisters at his house. Never class. And you know, and the brother erased a lot of stuff where you can go back and see what his past was.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You will see no evidence of him teaching. You will see no evidence of him edifying. He just, you know, the brother act like a queen. All right, now look, I'm gonna tell you for real. From my perspective, the brother kind of always been envious of Zabak and Terah. You know, and also like the other elders, House of David. I seen a lot of things, you know, because the brother tried to get me to kind of. It was certain things he played people against each other, trying to develop and, you know, do business through my brothers and sisters. Right. With my merchandise then. I was trying to do that stuff then. I always did that. Right. So I was trying to implement stuff like that then. And I was trying to do it through the brothers and sisters. The brother was acting like he was, you know. And then, like I said, the brother, for the most part, everybody else was supportive. You know, the other brothers was supportive. And I don't mean to just what I'm trying to do, but it seemed like a lot of the other brothers was in the spirit. It seemed like this brother was trying to pimp us. Like we was his hoes or something.
Too many suckers and not enough time. The both of all of them with one clip for me 9. To shoot to kill them, say me don't care. I tried to kill but it don't get me nowhere. I just put on me gun in a mini suitcase. Pick up me fist, the both of them face.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Turn the music and stuff up in the headphones for me. Alright. Yeah. Pick up the Bible and get into it. Pick up the Bible and do the work. Pick up the Bible and get into it. Pick up the Bible and do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Hey, do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Hey. Pick up the Bible and get into it. Pick up the Bible and do the work. Pick up the Bible and get into it. Pick up the Bible and do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Hey, do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Hey. True prophet of the Most High, going all out for the lost sheep. Out here in these cold streets, no heat, no food, no sleep. Same clothes for the whole week. In Babylon where the folks meet, we get more sheep than little Bo Peep. Isaiah 58 said, go cry loud to the whole world. You don't want to be the 2/3, only 1/3 get the whole world. 12 gates, 12 names, in the kingdom we VIP. 12 angels on gate protection so we don't need no ID. Hold up, yeah. Welcome to Even the Blind Man Can See, hosted by your brother out of sight, bringing you the truth according to the scriptures. Pick up the Bible and get into it. Pick up the Bible and do the work. Pick up the Bible and get into it. Pick up the Bible and do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Hey, do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Hey. Pick up the Bible and get into it. Pick up the Bible and do the work. Pick up the Bible and get into it. Pick up the Bible and do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Hey, do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Hey. Yeah, so what's up, everybody, man? We finally made it here to Even the Blind Man Can See. You know what I'm saying? I want to say YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI Barakathum to all my brothers and my sisters who keep the commandments and keep the faith and ain't afraid to tell the devil he's a devil to his goddamn face, man. And I just want to say welcome to Even the Blind Man Can See, man. Let's get a round of applause up in here, man. That's right. Y'all know what it is, man. As y'all already know, man. And if you don't know, I am out of sight, man. You know, Brother Elijah from the mighty HOI camp, man. And I'm here with the peoples, man. I'm here with my brother Yaqataz. You know what I'm saying? Go on, introduce yourself, Yaqataz.
Shalom, my brother Yaqataz, HOI DMV. That's it. Basically, brother Yaqataz.
Yeah, man. I want to welcome you here, brother Yaqataz, and I appreciate you making that long trip from Washington, D.C. to come down here, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, spend some time with the brother and let people out there in the world get to know you and, you know, in this laid back, you know, reserved atmosphere. So, you know, thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing HOI DMV with you, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all of your support and your participation. And today, brother, you know, I want to give you your roses while you're still here to smell them and, you know, thank you for all of the work that you've been putting in and over the years. So I guess the first place to start would be, what was your journey like coming into this truth? You know, tell us a little bit about, you know, yourself and where you're from and how you came across this walk.
Kind. You know, I'm a brother that was born in Washington, D.C. Background, you know, father's side of the family is so-called Hispanic Caribbean background, right? From Panama and Barbados.
Panama, Barbados. Shout out to Panama and Barbados.
So also, you know, my mother's background, all Gadite, all Native Americans.
All praises.
You know, so I got a good mixture of culture there, man. You know what I'm saying? Either my grandmother, right? Either my grandmother is the first person who ever taught me the white man was the devil.
Ooh, all praises.
You know what I mean? So that was the first person I seen called the white man the devil and confounded me, right? Because I knew she was Caucasian. Come up in the streets of Washington D.C., man. You know, my background is a little, you know, I can't reveal too much. It's a little sketchy.
Okay,
But I'm just saying as far as, because, you know, if I do that, I'm going to implement family members and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So,
right, no snitching on
right?
even the blind man can see show.
But I come from, you know, a background of mostly all of us Israelite brothers. And I know it's a lot of brothers that probably come from worse than I. You know, like I said, I come from D.C. I grew up during a time when it was the murder capital. In order to live through that time, man, it was really, if you lived through that time, you kind of got through by the skin of your teeth. My father was killed in the streets of D.C., gun violence, when I was 6 years old on Martin Luther King's birthday in 1980. So that's what kind of like really put me on this journey from that point. I remember specifically the night my father got killed, and just, you know, it's almost like I immediately came into I came out of that childhood fog, that immature fog, and everything became clear to me right at that moment.
So you knew shit was real then?
I knew shit was real as soon as my mother told me my father got killed. I mean, like the smoke screen immediately cleared away from my face. And I kind of I might have became almost, no, it sounds crazy, I might have almost became a man at 6 years old at that time.
Yeah, I
you know what I'm saying?
Man. I mean, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, because of the circumstances that we live in, you know what I'm saying, because of our bloodline, you know, it's a lot of young men, you know, who have to become adults too fast. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you know, all praises that the Most High brought you through that. You know what I'm saying? And you gained some wisdom and discernment from it, right, Ken?
I mean, you know, it might sound crazy, but you know, the Most High been doing spectacular things for me. You know, just through my endurance and, you know, through what I went through. That was probably the most tragic thing in my life, you know, and I had to really, even though I was young, I had to kind of pull myself out of that and keep it moving, you know, because me and my pops, we was real tight. I lived with my father, you know, when he got killed. So, you know, I'm just tight with my family. That thing kind of it set me on the path of this right now. And I never knew what it was, but, you know, I always just was, I need to figure out what's going on. Because, you know, when my father got killed, I was like, man, what's going on with our people? You know, something ain't right. It's, you know, even during the time of the killing, I kind of stayed out of that and I stepped back from it because it was all around me. You know what I mean? I was consumed by it. Family members, friends, you know, so I had to kind of like, if I didn't want the same thing to happen to me to happen to my father, I had to kind of be circumspect. You know, and my family, they was caught up in a lot, so I had to kind of like make my own way or reputation. And DC is very small, so you can get caught up for anybody madness. You know what I mean? Definitely. Somebody catch you slipping anytime. So you know, I had to create my own. I didn't create it, but I had to let the society know who, my name Martin. So I had to let society know who Martin Garcia's was, opposed to, that's one of them Garcia boys right there.
Right.
You understand?
You had to stand out. You had to make your mark in the world. Yeah,
because the Garcia boys, you know what I mean? That's a whole different entity right there. So I kind of had to pull myself out of the fire and walk my own path.
All praises.
You know what I mean?
Well, what was it like for you back then when I mean, as far as religion, did you grow up in a family that went to church?
Well, you know, like I said, I got Hispanic, so-called Hispanic. My family speak Patois. They from Panama by way of the Barbados.
Okay.
So they speak Spanish, but they sound like Jamaicans.
Okay.
Right? And from that culture comes, you know, the Spaniards they whoop Catholicism into our people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So my Benjamite side of the family, they heavy into Catholicism. Right? My mother side of the family, so much, you know, Christianity, they into it, but not hardcore.
Okay.
Right? My time in the church, I could never get with the church. It just never resonated with me. When I was probably 4 or 5 years old, I seen 2 old sisters falling out, wigs, Holy Ghost, and I couldn't figure that out. And I knew it wasn't real. I just was like, what is this place? They got to be acting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So from there, it kind of threw me off. And I just was always a man, a person I just wanted the facts. I didn't care how they made me feel, you know. And going back to that era that we went through, you know, because me and you grow up in that same era. We was just talking about that. You know what I mean? Right. DC in New York, New York in DC, and our trials and tribulations amongst each other. You know, that was a heavy time to grow up in.
Yeah, there was a lot of wickedness going on back then. And, you know, unfortunately, man, brothers and sisters being caught up in this Babylonian system, not really knowing who we are, and not having no consideration for each other's lives and all of that. So, yeah, it was definitely a wild time. But tell me, King, what was the first time you came across Israelite brothers?
Well, let me say this. I spent a lot of time in New York as a teenager, you know, doing my dirt. And I wouldn't say doing my dirt. You know, I used to travel to New York probably 3 times a week to get my work. Right? So I would say probably 10 years ago, YouTube is when I discovered Israel. And, you know, throughout my life, I was always like the 12 tribes of Israel, Hebrew. And I just, you know, I'm a common sense dude. I studied history. You know, I got a library of books. My father died. My mother gave me books, model cars. That's why you see the stuff I do. I'm real artistic. Right. So she gave me books and model cars and certain things like that. So I always read. I always dealt with history, and Africanism never resonated with me. Right. So when I would hear a story about the lost tribes, those words would resonate with me. Lost, tribe, you know, that sound like Afrocentric, black, tribe. Right. So all of that stuff just resonated with my spirit, and, you know, they just served as breadcrumbs, you know, when I was young. So, you know, when the YouTube came around, pop up the Israelites. Here we go, the Israelites.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, snap. So the first thing I see was, I didn't run into Israelites first. I see a Jewish man. He got a 3-part series. He's saying who are the so-called blacks is the real Jews. Right. But before then, Farrakhan putting out series throwing breadcrumbs. He's not telling you the full story, but he's asking who are the true children of Israel.
Right.
So I'm like, hold up, let me get this. I got the series, and it stunned me. You know, he's throwing breadcrumbs. He's not telling you specifically, but the breadcrumbs stun me because I can read between the lines.
Right.
So then I go online, I see this Jewish guy, and he's giving the treks from the west coast of Africa to the Americas, South Central, and all over the earth. He's telling the history. He bringing out Deuteronomy 28 and 68. I was stunned. So then from there, I'm seeing the links of all of these white ladies, head covered. And they being interviewed by all these Israelite brothers talking about we the gods and the Israelites, the blacks is the true chosen people. So from there, I start clicking in. Israelite camps. I said, oh, snap. Oh, snap. The slave ships, Christ black, King James, because I used to repeat a lot of stuff. What we need a King James Bible for? King James a faggot. He a white man.
Right, because we all heard those rumors
You know what I'm
coming
saying?
up, right?
Man.
And we just regurgitate them because we don't know no better. I thought King
Yeah.
James looked like Kenny G.
Yeah. So I'm on my black man stuff. I'm like, what we need a King James Bible for? Where the real Bible at?
Right.
I always believed in the Bible, but I'm like, what we need a King James Bible for? So I'm thinking King James wrote the Bible. So me being ignorant, I'm thinking King, England, white people, European.
Right.
That's my ignorance though. You know what I mean? So when I discovered all of this, man, when I discovered the truth, I literally cried for like 2 weeks. I couldn't, I mean, like consistently, constantly. If I walked out of the house, I had to put on a hood, sunglasses. I had to cover myself up. I was confounded. I was confounded and emotional. So when I found the truth, it was like, oh my gracious, I've been looking for this all my life. You know, literally, we the 12 tribes of Israel. We God's chosen people.
Wow,
Growing up,
praises.
seeing the murders, I said something ain't right with our people. God is judging us. There's got to be some type of curse or something. We the best people on earth. All of this that we teaching now, I knew it. I knew we was the greatest people on earth. I'm like, what's up with these corny people? You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm examining the ends of the world and all of these rumors about the end of the world, us being in slavery. When we gonna get, you know what I'm saying? Well, we just gonna go from slavery to death? I didn't have no understanding of hell. You understand? The kingdom and none of that. I'm just thinking we about to go from hell to hell. So when I found the truth, it was just like, oh my gracious, man, I've been looking for this all my life. And honestly, you know, I used to pray to the Most High to reveal the truth to me. I always wanted to learn the truth about who I was before I left this earth.
And all praises that the Most High is dealing with you and woke you up and showed you the truth, King. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, that's a blessing. And I think that sometimes, you know, we need to stop and consider that blessing, that, you know, for us to even understand who the scriptures are talking about is a blessing within itself. You know what I'm saying? But once you got the truth, how did you get active? Like, you know, what was your next step to getting out there and pushing the gospel and waking up other people so that they can know the truth?
You know what's so funny, man? Like I was saying, you know, going back to when I was younger, I told myself if the Most High ever brought the truth to me, I said, how would I get this out? Because my people, it gotta go out fast. When I find it, gotta go out fast. This is me as a youngster, a child. Right. So I said, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do. If I find this truth, I'm gonna have to get on the corner and I'm gonna have to yell, and I know everybody gonna be looking at me like I'm crazy. You know how the people used to be on the street with the signs, the end is coming, the end is near, and they yelling all of the Bible stuff, right? Yeah. So I told myself, if I found the truth, I'm gonna have to do that, and people gonna look at me like I'm crazy. My community gonna reject me, my mother, everybody. So now I'm looking like, oh snap, I'm out here yelling. This is not the same format, but I'm literally out here doing exactly what I dreamed of doing when I found the truth.
Exactly.
Right? So also that passion, you know, when y'all see me out there like that, that's the real spirit. That's real organic. Because a lot of times I get out there, I be on some other time and then the switch just flick. And I gotta watch the videos sometime to see what I did or what transpired that day, because I be in the zone a lot of time.
Right.
A lot of time after camp, I feel like I just fought somebody in a 12-round boxing ring or ran a marathon. Right? And then I forget probably most of the whole whatever I taught that whole day. I gotta go back and watch, and the spirit just stunned me, and it just resonate back to, you know, how I came across this truth, man, and just being thankful, you know.
So when you first started laboring, who taught you how to labor? Like, Who taught you how to go out there and hit the highways
So,
and the byways?
Salakia, yeah, right. And so what I did is I'm used to, you know, I'm an enterprising brother, and I'm used to, you know, from the world, you know, my family come from Panama. You can probably guess that we done had our own thing jumping.
Right.
You know what I mean? Way before I was born or whatever. Same reason why my father got killed in the street when I was 6 years old. So you know, I grew up always doing what I put my mind to. Right? Not saying I never failed or didn't fall, but I always did my own thing. Whether it was drugs, whether it was business, it was always me doing it. So, I'm in the truth. You know, when I first, I'm like, you know what? I'm about to form me a camp. I'm gonna form me a camp. Ain't nobody here in DC. I'm gonna form me a camp. And I sat back. I said, hold up. This ain't Biff. This ain't what you. This is a nickname for me. Biff, this ain't what you used to doing. This the Most High's business. You can't just up and just think this some corporation or you building a business or you going to get some thing, and this ain't that. What you need to get up under some people who really know this. This is a like so-called Nipsey Hussle, the marathon. This ain't no race you jumping in. This ain't nothing you running. The Most High running the show here. And if you think you getting in here doing your thing, the Most High, I knew that from the jump. So I said, let me find somebody to get under. So I'm like, you know, yeah, I was examining ISUPK, IUIC. You know, you're gonna examine all the camps when you don't know nobody.
Right. We all do that.
We all do that. So I'm just going through and I'm like, nah, that ain't my spirit. Woo woo woo. And I ain't gonna name who. I just, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, finally for like a year, I'm in the house. You know, I make my own clothes. Y'all know that. So I'm making my own everything. My family tripping. They ask me, what, you a Muslim? You got turbans and stuff all on and wearing all of these things swinging from your clothes. So I'm like, nah, I ain't no Muslim, but I ain't telling nobody what's the deal. Right? I'm just keeping it to myself. So, after a year, I said, man, it's weird. I'm looking for camps. Trying to figure out, see ISUPK, Chinatown. I could never catch them. Don't know nobody who know the time. So I say, I'm going out to camp. One Saturday, I say, I'm going to camp. So I goes through YouTube and I say, I'm going to look for somebody in DC. So I see FOPE, right? I don't think I really was looking at their videos too much. Wasn't too familiar with them. I seen few things, but it was probably more of Mahar, right? So I said, I check under their video. I see the information, the number. I calls. So I was supposed to meet them out at camp. First day, brother, never met no Israelites camp. I used to always ride around on the Sabbath looking for Israelite camps to be out at camp. So I goes out before I meet up with FOPE that day. I goes out, ride down the street. I see GJC, the so-called Comforters camp, right? I see his camp. So I say, oh, snap, some Israelites. I jump out. I got fringes on. I got the Mitri wrapped around my head and all of that. But I'm still green.
Right.
So I goes to them and I'm like, shalom. I'm giving them the fist to the chest. These dudes surrounded me, like they was about to whoop me. So I'm like, I'm looking at them like they're crazy, but I'm laughing at them. I'm like, what's up, shalom, you Akim? What's up with y'all? So they just start asking me like, well, what camp you in? What camp you in? Who sent you around here? I'm like, brother, I'm coming to get a flyer. I'm just coming into the truth. Who made them clothes for you? I'm like, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Can I get a flyer? They like, no. So I'm like, so you passing flyers to people who don't know who they are, but I can't get a flyer. Wow. Right? So at that point, and that, you know, that hurt my feelings. And that was my first, and I'm not a sensitive dude, but I'm like, you know, I'm seeing my brothers, they garment it up. First Israelites I run into. So if I was sensitive, I would have said, hold up, them Israelite niggas ain't right. First Israelite niggas I encountered, they ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So I shake that off and I say, something ain't right with these dudes, man. Later on that day, I goes up and that's when I meet Qunath, I meet Sham. I meet Barack. Maybe a few other brothers. But the first night I came up there, you know, Qunath and them told me, you look like you an ancient Hebrew stepped up off the subway. You don't look like you just got in this thing.
Right.
So they put me up on the line to read that night, and I trumpeted on them. I blew the trumpet on them, and they was like, "Whoa!" You know. So from there, that was it. From there, I stayed with FOPE for like 2 years.
Wow. That's kind of interesting, because, you know, I mean, I heard things about you have been a part of FOPE before, and you know, like there's like a weird history or some weird shit going on between HOI and FOPE, and I mean, you know, you probably have like intimate knowledge of, you know, the workings and the ins and outs of how, you know, the people over there, how they get down. Like, what is your understanding of what, you know, what FOPE is about and why there might be some type of friction?
Now listen, I'm gonna bring out a scripture first before I do this, right? I want to bring out a scripture and give me Colossians 3:17 out. You know, and before I get into this, right? You know what's so wild is that a lot of the friction between FOPE and HOI, I was there for all of it. You know, that's why I don't speak on it too much, because it's real messy. You know, it's real demonic. You know, and it's just real messy, brother. You know what I'm saying? But at some point in time, some of the facts need to be brought forth instead of like a lot of the folly that's going on, a lot of the slandering. You know, a lot of people is not being able to see things clear because of the smoke screen, the smothering of the scandal. And you know, I've been biting my tongue for the longest time because like Leviticus 5:1 say, when you hear souls swear and you don't speak. So I be hearing lies all the time. You know, and I ain't a brother that really holds my tongue, but I'm discreet. I ain't got time for the messy garbage. I don't deal with clown jokers. You know what I mean? I don't deal with all the vain babbling, back and forth, the discourse amongst brethren and men. I don't take no brothers. I don't underestimate no brother. I don't take no brothers for granted. So I can't be around brothers like that. And and you know, it's been real tough to not reveal a lot of the ins and outs of what this situation is, because it you know, it can get messy. And I know, and you know, this just speaking the truth. Let me bring this scripture first, and then I'm gonna go. Go ahead.
The book of Colossians chapter 3 and verse 17.
Right.
And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of MASHAYACH YAHAWASHI.
So listen, what we about to get into, what we do, this work right here is all in the name of the anointed Savior, the Son of the Most High, right? We do this work all in the name of the Most High, in the Son of His, in the name of the Savior, by the power, in the name of the Savior, by the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So in what we telling right here, what I'm about to reveal, matter of fact, I'm not revealing anything. What I'm about to speak on is just facts. I'm not gonna get into no backbiting, tearing no brothers down. But what I will do, I'm gonna speak straight up. I'm gonna speak candidly. I'm gonna speak truthfully. I'm not revealing nobody personal secrets. And what I mean personal secrets, something they dealing with themselves. But you know, ask me any questions, King. And so now, go ahead, finish that out.
Giving thanks to YAHAWAH and the Father by him.
So right, we giving thanks to YAHAWAH giving thanks to YAHAWASHI and the Father by HaMASHAYACH YAHAWASHI. So now you ask me, answer me that question specifically again, King, so I can answer it direct.
Well, I guess the best way to put the question is, from your understanding and your perspective as an individual who has frequented both camps, what would be your insight on the situation while there's a friction? I mean, from my understanding and from my side of it, I know that HOI as a body, we don't have any issues with any other camp, school, faction, or anything. We don't go out of our way to make videos about people, trying to expose people. And if we do rebuke somebody, it's done out of love, and it's done to, to lift up, to build up our brothers and our sisters. You know what I'm saying? In accordance with Leviticus 19-17. So what would be your insight to why there's this friction and maybe what we can do to try to put a squash to it?
Okay. I'm going to answer your last question first. To my understanding and what I see and me knowing the brothers, I don't think there's nothing you could do or any of us can do to put a stop to it, because what you're looking at is, these brothers, they don't plan on stopping. This is, this thing is their attention. This is where they're getting their attention from. But my take on what's going on is it's envy. It's vicious envy. It's an issue with what's going on over here in HOI is exposing what's not going on over there in FOPE. I also think that I play a big factor in a lot that's going on. I'm pretty sure y'all realize that I labored with them brothers for 2 years. Me and Qunath, we hung together for 2 years every day straight. The brother we lived 2 blocks from each other. He used to walk to my house, I used to walk to his house all day, every day. So I got to know him, he got to know me. I don't think a lot of people that spend time around him really was able to spend time around him like that to really get to know him. Plus, I'm 46 years old, so I'm not no naive young boy that don't see what's going on. Right. When I got there, I was optimistic, but I also can tell, and it's not putting the brother down, but I can also tell, even me coming from where I was coming from and not really knowing the Bible and the scriptures, that the leadership was not even on my level. You know what I mean? And I knew that, but I stay. I'm a brother. When I make a pact, I'm loyal to my pact, and I stay in my lane.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not a pride problem, brother. I don't deal with pride. I deal with order. Right. So I already knew who I put myself under was not. After a second, I seen that. You know what I mean? I could just tell that. Just the way things was moving, I could tell things wasn't really happening. And listen, I'm just telling the truth. I'm not defecating on FOPE because I love them brothers. Even though they doing some wicked garbage right now. You know what I mean? But this stuff, this stuff is at a high level now. But Qunath been doing this the whole time, man. That's why it's been a lot of people that you've seen and they've been gone and they've disappeared. A lot of young brothers. A lot of young brothers wanted to get physical. And I'm pretty sure you see why.
Oh, definitely. And it's I always say that it's okay to disagree. I'm from the mind state that if you a grown man and you dealing with another grown man and y'all have a disagreement on a belief or or something that you think you understand or you think you know,
Come.
it's okay to disagree. There's, you know what I'm saying, there should be no situation where I have to hate a person because they disagree with my doctrine.
Come.
Or I have to be disrespectful and rude to a person because they disagree with me on some level. And I think in our community, a lot of times when we get into physical altercations, verbal arguments, and altercations and fights and murder and stuff like that, they always start out because we have a problem with being able to agree to disagree in our community.
Come.
It's like if a person doesn't agree with me or I don't have the facts to back up what I'm saying against this person's argument, then the next step is to insult this person because I don't have facts.
Come.
Or I'm going to insult this person because I can't combat what this person is throwing at me factually. And I think, you know, a lot of that happens in the body of Zion, on social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I think a lot of people take advantage of the truth. Like, you know, it's expected that we deal with, you know, contention in a certain way. We're supposed to be spiritual people and we're not supposed to be strikers. And I think because certain individuals understand that they go above and beyond crossing the line. You know, you'll say certain things to people that you consider to be in the truth that you wouldn't say to a regular brother on the street because you know the repercussions will be different.
And see, you know, that's the issue there, because, you know, like I said, you know, we done held camp a few times, and I done seen people come up from the street and have issues with us and conflict, and Qunath shut camp down immediately. Right? I'm talking about being shook. He was shut camp. I done watched that man shut camp down at least 3 to 4 times immediately when people got a problem with, you know, with what we was teaching or what we said.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, like, it's crazy because, you know, like I said, all of the stuff you saying now, you scared of people in the street, but you will take brothers for granted in this walk. And brothers that's in this walk, most of them not far removed from where they just came from.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a definite point, because everybody's not on the same level in their walk, and everybody's spirituality level is different as well. Because you might have a brother that been in this truth 5, 6, 7 years, and their level of tolerance and patience is different than the brother that just came in off the streets that's just getting in the truth. So yeah, I could definitely understand where, you know, some brothers, it'll be way more easy for them to get carnal and go upside somebody's head than it would be for other brothers, you know what I'm saying, that been in the truth longer. So yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying.
Plus, you know, people got friends and family members. You know,
Right.
like me, I don't like stuff that's going on. This just something personal. I can, because it's an example. Like, I got friends that I grew up with. You know, I ain't going to involve my family in this. Family is family. Family going to go 100 miles with you. But I even got people, you know, that I'm not even living in life no more. But I got people like, you know, Biff, if you got issues, you know, I'm like, nah, these my brothers. And so, look, you live in that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I see something, I don't want to hear that. You live in that. So when I hear stuff like that from my peoples, I put that on everybody. And what I'm saying is every man should not be underestimated.
Right.
If my peoples could do that with me, all these brothers in the truth probably got worse peoples than mine and friends than mine.
Right.
You feel me? So that's where I put that at. And if you want to play with brothers, because they got the word of God, you a clown. You a serious clown. And you listen, you asking for somebody to put their head to bed. Because like I said, brother, most of the time you got women and you got young brothers get played with. I done seen a few young brothers get is leftist truth. And like, I'm going to see Slim. And I had to kind of like, and listen, this got to come out. The reason why I'm talking about this, because this got to come out. A lot of this haven't been coming out You know, a lot of people online watching this folly happen, and they think this stuff is just hunky-dory, when a lot of stuff behind this is serious behind the scenes.
Right.
This stuff is serious, man.
Yeah, and it's important to understand that, you know, it's a lot of people, not just, you know, brothers in FOPE, you know, in general. I come across a lot of different stuff on Facebook and YouTube, and you know, you see a lot of contention and a lot of showboating and trying to expose. It's like WWF shit. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of wrestling or something. Everybody's, you know, just getting out there trying to put each other down and trying to tear each other down, and like, you know, for a person that's just coming in the truth, it can be discouraging. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we all come into this truth with that romanticized image of what it's gonna be like. Like, you know, when you first come into this truth, you be like, oh yes, I'm finally gonna get some real brotherly love, some real sisterly love, some real fellowship. And then you get up in here and you feel like brothers is acting like a bunch of gangbangers and, you know what I'm saying, backstabbing each other and tearing each other down. It gets to the point where you don't even know who to trust sometimes.
Hey, Ak, when I see it most of the time, it's these dudes, they be soft. Because, you know, real man ain't going to play with another man. You're not going to come out and just be scandalized. As quick as we kill each other in the street, you're not going to come out and scandalize no other man and then hide behind, well, brother, you know you supposed to be, see, he violent. He violent.
That brother's a striker.
Nigga, my wife and kids watching you do all this.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? What you think? So every time that somebody say something about you, you start screaming your wife and kids and your whole household and your kids in safety, and this brother threatened me and I need to call the police, and you want to signify. You want to signify. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you scandalizing people you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if these people even got family members in your area.
Right.
We gotta stop. We gotta start realizing the type of brothers we dealing with. And for me, I'm gonna tell you, I don't think that brother was never in the truth. That's just my. I'm gonna tell you who used to hold down FOPE for real, for real. It was Sham. Sham was the one who was doing the teaching. Sham was the one doing. When I was there, the brother didn't teach one class.
Wow. Not
one class. Right? And always had brothers and sisters at his house. Never class. If you see, and you know, and the brother erased a lot of stuff where you can go back and see what his past was.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You will see no evidence of him teaching. You will see no evidence of him edifying. He just, you know, the brother act like a queen. And like everybody need to be like subservient to him. He loved man. He loved to have men lapdogging him. He loved that. He loved to have men like, you know, and that's why I tell people all the time, I'm not an elder. I'm not an elder. And, you know, like you say, I've been putting work on the streets for years. I don't look at it like that. I'm a little boy. I'm still wet behind the ears. I'm just getting out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what, King? I mean, I appreciate your humility and everything, but you know, if you've been out there for more than 5 years putting in some work on these streets and this Babylonian system, then that deserves to be, you know, that's not something that you just wink an eye at. You know what I'm saying? Because when you out there in them streets, on them highways and byways, I don't care if you only did it for 1 year. That's 1 year where somebody could have threw some piss on you. That's 1 year where somebody could have spit on you, shot you, killed you, stabbed you. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. So every day that you risking your life and your freedom is worth noting. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the years that you put in. I don't care if it ain't 20 years. I appreciate it, and I'm pretty sure everybody else that see you putting in the work appreciates it too, man. You know what I'm saying? That's real talk, King.
I just praise the Most High for having me in this space, brother. You know, a lot of people, you know, just gone and didn't get this. You know, a lot of people I know, you know, they out of here and they ain't never get a whiff of this truth here.
Well,
you know
before we move on, Salaki.
No, I just wanted to touch. That's why I'm humble when it comes to the word. But go ahead.
before we move on, because
Con.
you know I don't want to spend too much time talking about these FOPE
Con,
characters,
con,
right?
con.
You know, but the real thing that I was really trying to get at is your perspective on why does it seem like the brother keeps singling out HOI like he does, you know what I'm saying? And like what on your from your perspective, what is his issue with us? You know what I'm saying? With us.
All right, now look, like my New York brother say, this the mathematics, son. Here go the mathematics, son. All right, now look, I'm gonna tell you for real. From my perspective, the brother kind of always been envious of Zabak and Tara, you know, and also like the other elders, House of David. I seen a lot of things, you know, because the brother tried to get me to kind of. It was certain things he played people against each other, and here had you thinking certain things about people you don't know because they in another state, and you just coming around. So you know, when I left FOPE, I literally called everybody that I knew, and I just apologized just in case they looked at me or I was caught up in some garbage, you know what I mean? Because I know it was a lot of garbage that happened, some things that happened dealing with the summits. And so I just had to, you know, rectify the stuff that I realized that I got myself into. Right? Second of all, I think the beef is, because he said it before, like, Zabak, you supposed to be my friend. You got this brother in the camp. I ain't saying this verbatim, but this walk is about gathering your brothers. This ain't a friend thing. Right? So this is that things like that to show you what spirit he in. Right? So I think he was upset with Zabak and Tara and them for accepting me into the family after I left FOPE. You know, because he you know, some other brothers he lied to and, you know, had brothers thinking about me a certain way. And also, you know, when I left, it was, I was messed up, man. I had lost everything before I came into this truth. I had lost my business, my home, everything, cars, bank froze like $300 and something thousand of my account. IRS took all my money. So when I came into this truth, I was desolate. I mean, my family had money, but I had to move back in grandma's basement. I'm 40 years old living in my grandmother's basement, right? So, with them, 2 years, I'm still broke, but I'm in the spirit, trying to develop and, you know, do business through my brothers and sisters. With my merchandise then. I was trying to do that stuff then. I always did that. So I was trying to implement stuff like that then. And I was trying to do it through the brothers and sisters. The brother was acting like he was, you know. And then, like I said, the brother, for the most part, everybody else was supportive. You know, the other brothers were supportive. And I don't mean to just what I'm trying to do, but it seemed like a lot of the other brothers was in the spirit. It seemed like this brother was trying to pimp us. Like we was his hoes or something. So, something transpired, and I was running a so-called donation account. Right? Something transpired at the end, and I took $200, which was the last money in there. Took the $200 out, and it was something I used. It was a vindictive thing I did. Right? It was a vindictive thing I did. And I took the $200 because I'm like, I figure I'm doing all of this work with the camp. I'm dedicating this day to day. So like I'm telling you this and I'm not justifying what I did on principality status. I took the money, right? So it was me being on my, man, fuck that, I'm taking this. And you gonna leave me starving, nigga, I'm taking this and F y'all. Not F y'all, but you know what I'm saying, fuck that. So it was $200. And I started realizing the brother really wasn't trying to move in a certain direction. He wasn't really worried about me getting myself, you know, together so I can keep pushing the word. You know, just me feed my children, and he wanted to keep me like really like lacking so I can, you know, people when they keep you, it's like a pimp. You can't feed your hoe too much. They got to you spoon feed them, and they got to count on you and be all whatever up on you, right?
Yeah, you just basically got street on the nigga, basically.
Yeah, so I said, you know, he was gonna use the money for something else, and I'm like, man, you know what? This ain't looking out for who hold this shit down. Let me get that.
Right.
So I just took the 200, and I literally used that 200 to eat for the next couple of weeks or so. It wasn't like a carnal thing. I took the 200 for. Right. So that was after I left. He used that with the brothers, like to call around, tell him I'm a thief. I'm this, I'm that. So he tried to scandalize me through Israel with that and tried to make Israel not deal with me.
Right.
So I got out and I started traveling around Israel. And when people asked me about the situation, I told them the same story. I told them what I did with the money, why I did it. And I ain't going to tell the intimate story because it involved somebody else in the other camp.
Right.
Right? So from that, Israel didn't buy that. Brothers start scandalizing me, doing lives. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, and then the back up 2000, was it 14? We was at Feast of Purim in Nicholas Bookstore with AOC. Right?
Right.
Me, Qunath wife, and his cousin. So we up New York with AOC. Zabak, House of Israel, didn't know we was up New York. We holding the Feast of Purim with AOC. We come out. A lot of times the bus, if you got certain bus the bus cut off at a certain time and don't come back to 7:30, right? So that's the bus we had. We had to get to the bus. We got to wait, 8 hours for this bus now. It's 11 o'clock, the bus cut off. We got to find out a way to wait for this bus.
Right.
AOC, every time we came up there with them, they'd stay with us. Look, we'll stay with y'all. Let's go to the IHOP. We'll sit in here. So they was like, come on, let's go here. We're going to sit. We'll sit with y'all till y'all bus come, this and that. Nah, that's all right. So end up, he said, had his wife calls a bot, ex-wife, right? Who's a bot wife was at that time.
Right.
Right? So one way or another, call her to see if we can go over there and stay for the night until we come catch our bus. But we calling these peoples off the cuff. They didn't even know we was in New York.
Right, so it was out of the blue.
And it's late at night.
Yeah.
Right? So whatever happened, we wasn't able to go over there and stay. Bought off my back. I ain't never even think about staying with them or even putting that on their back. They didn't even know we was in New York.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, well, we got to go up in this bus station and stand up for 8 hours and wait for the bus like we always do.
Yeah.
So then whatever happened came back with that. He used that to be pissed off with the brother. That if you talk to him, he'll still use that. That's what he used right now as the subject for the grudge. When you really think about it, if you really an Israelite, don't the scripture say you should not hate your brother in your heart, neither bear grudge on him?
Leviticus 19:17.
So you bearing grudge on your brother when he told you it didn't have nothing to do with him, where you couldn't stay there and that wasn't his place.
Right.
So you still trying to hold on to something because you really have nothing to hold a grudge on to this brother with. So that's what the real grudge is over. See, he'll call me, you remember he left us in the sub? Because that night he was like, you see, the brother, look at my wife standing up. And I'm just looking at him like he crazy. Because I'm like, he didn't know we was up New York. He's not obligated. You calling a man 11, 12 o'clock at night, and you don't know if he sleep. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if his house together. That don't even matter. We didn't even come up there with him.
Right.
He didn't even know he was up there. If the brothers that we was up there with said, look, we're going to hold y'all down and chill, you tell them no, how you going to get mad at another man that you just call out the blue late at night and trying to come stay at his house? Yeah. 4 niggas at that. 4 grown niggas.
So basically, at the end of it all, to sum it all up, his his motivation is a grudge from years ago because he couldn't come spend the night at somebody's house, and basically his jealousy and envy.
It's that is I think it's mainly got something to do with me, cause see this brother, what you gonna understand, he think he has the power to run people out and get people ostracized. That brother really thinks he has the power, and then when you don't do what he think you should do, he starts scandalizing you. And the dude stayed stuck in a corner in his house. The brother's very scared and paranoid because he do a lot of this. The brother walks around and watches his back all the time. I'm just telling you.
Oh, he's like a scary brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because
he's crossed a lot of brothers out.
He did that video the HOI blind leading the blind or something to that effect in response to a bird killer video that wasn't even about his ass, you know what I'm saying, directly, but he seemed like he thought that I was threatening him. He was scared of me, and I'm a blind guy. And I'm like, why you scared of me for? I ain't gonna do nothing to you. Why would I threaten you? I can't even see you, you know. But I mean, I pray for that brother. I pray that, you know, that brother gets it together, man, and the Most High puts him on the right path where he could be, because, you know what I'm saying, he's my brother. I love him too. He's a little twisted and mental, but, you know what I'm saying, I love him too. And all the other brothers that got anything negative and crazy to say about HOI or anybody in the body of Zion, man, I just pray for all of them, and that's all we can really do for these brothers is pray for them and ignore them. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I think we wasted enough time talking about him. We're going to take a quick minute, and then we're going to get to some of these magnificent things that you put together and that you sell, brother, because we want to talk about your boutique, and we want to talk about your skill set when it comes to creating all of these things like this beautiful chain and stuff, and all of the things that you've been supplying us with. So we're going to talk about that in about a quick minute, and we'll get back with you all in 1 second. All right? Peace. Peace, man. Yeah, man, it's your brother Out of Sight. You know, coming at y'all once again, man, to give y'all some good news, and also to see if y'all want to help me out with something, man. You know, I always say you should lead by example. So, you know, that's what I'm doing. Everybody knows that I do music. Everybody knows that I go out on the streets and I teach. But my thing is, I'm really trying to get, you know, this word into the hands of the people. As I've said before, contrary to people's beliefs, a lot of people don't even have Bibles at home. And it's not easy for them to understand the concept of being the children of Israel, the children of the Most High God, without them being able to read it for themselves. So I put my own money up and I ordered some Bibles so that I could get the Bibles into the hands of those who don't have them, the hands of those who need them the most. The so-called blacks, so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native American Indians, the real Israelites that the Bible speaks of. That's it right there, man. Check that out. That's the King James Holy Bible. It ain't nothing super fancy, you know what I mean? It's just the King James Holy Bible, no red letter or anything like that, but it does have the words of the Most High God of Israel right here in these books. Now, with your assistance, I can give these type of Bibles out to hundreds, thousands of people, but I need your assistance. I put my own money up to get these cases right here going. That's to show you the initiative that, yes, Out of Sight puts his money where his mouth is. But I'm asking you, Zion, the body of Zion, my brothers and sisters in Israel, to help me out. Help me get these Bibles into the hands of those that really need them. And you can do so by helping me to purchase more Bibles. You can send a donation to my Cash App. That is $myeyesiTe. That's MYEYESITE. $myeyesiTe. MYEYESITE. And my government name is Shiraz Segriti. You'll be able to find that when you hit me up on the Cash App. So Zion, if you believe that this right here is the word of God, then help me get the word of God into the hands of the people who need to hear the word the most. The children of Israel, the lost sheep, the ones that don't know that they are the children of Israel. And with that, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna shout out HOI to the Chariots Fly. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my brother Mike Malice. Shout out any and every Israelite brother that's out there on them highways and byways, putting in that work and getting that gospel out and spreading the truth according to the scriptures. Shalom.